Okay, graad 11. Môre. Ek wil gou vinnig net met julle huiswerk merk. Kom ons kyk gou oefening 16. Yesterday we said that whenever we have this, we first have to take that cos 71 over, so it will become sin 17 minus cos 71. Now if I put that whole thing into my calculator, I would get the minus 0,33. Minus 0,03396 en dan nog 'n klomp ander desimale. Okay, so then usually from there we get our help angle. So my hulpboekie is 91,9. Maar nou wil ek hê jy moet gou vir my net hierso kyk, né? 91,9 is actually not an acute angle, né? Dis nie 'n skerp boekie nie. So gewoonlik het ons gekyk en gesê cos is negatief in kwadrant 2 en 3, nee. Okay, but I'm not going to use, quadrant 2 is usually 180 minus, nee. But because that help angle is bigger than 90, think of 91,9 would already be in the second quadrant, right? So you will see that I talk about quadrant 2, but I don't say 180 minus, I just say 91,9 because it already places me in the second quadrant. Nee. Okay, dan. Die volgende enetjie, cos is ook negatief in kwadrant 3. Okay, so you'll see I talk about quadrant 3, but in quadrant 3 we usually talk about 180 plus the help angle. As ek vat 180 plus my hulphoekie, omdat daai hulphoek 91 is, gaan ek dan outomaties lê in kwadrant 4 en ek wil nie dit hê nie. That's not where I want to be. I want to be in quadrant 3. So you will see over here I take 360 minus the help angle. Because if I take 360 minus 91, dan gaan ek lê in kwadrant 3. So hierin was bietjie confusing. Ek hoop julle verstaan vir hom. Okay, so when I simplify the 360 minus the 91,9, you will see that I end up with 268,1. Nee? Okay, en dan het hulle ook vir my gevra, ek moet gaan kyk, wat sal die hoekies wees within this interval? Dit moet lê tussen minus 360 en positief 360. So ons het mos nou hier en daar my algemene oplossing. So basically what we do is, instead of n, dat ek net gaan daai vir jou wegvat, in plaas van n hierso en n daarso, I would substitute n. What if it's 0, positive 1, positive 2, or negative 1, negative 2? Nee. En as ek dit gaan instel, gaan jy sien dat hier is die enigste hoekies, which would fall within that interval given of minus 360 up until positive 360. Okay, so sorry, this one was a bit confusing, but I did warn you guys and said that number 5, or at least the whole of exercise 16, these two that you did here, were more difficult than the next exercise. Okay, goed. Dan kom ons kyk gaan na hier enetjie. Gister het ons gesê die eerste stap gaan wees van daai vir my oor, then it will become minus 1, so that is why I end up with this 2. No. Okay, now I want to get rid of that 3. Now it's actually tan x plus 50 divided by 3. So if I take it over, it will become times 3. En dit is hoe ek kom by daai 6. Okay, so now that I have my equation looking like this, I can actually go look for a help angle. So I press shift tan 6, and that would give me, excuse, dit gaan vir my gee daai 80,54 grade. Okay, nou hier aan die regterkant sal jy sien, het ek vir jou gesê, tan is positief in kwadrant 1 en 4. Maar, you'd see that I scratched out quadrant 4 over there, because tan has a period of 180 degrees, nee? Hy het mos 'n periode van 180 grade, so ons gaan glad ek gaan kyk na kwadrant 4 nie, nee? Wanneer ons tan se algemene oplossing doen, dan kyk ons net na kwadrant 1 en 2. Okay, right, so in quadrant 1, I would then have x plus 50 equal to my help angle plus En kyk gou mooi, 180 times n. Onthou, weer eens, het gaan oor die periode daarso, né? Okay, so the next step, all I had to do was take the 50 over, and if I take 80,54 and subtract the 50, you would get your general equation of x is equal to 30,54 plus 180 times n. Okay, nou dat ek my algemene oplossing het, nou gaan kyk ek watter hoekies gaan dan nou lê in die interval van minus 360 tot by positief 360. And how do we do that again? We go substitute into this n over here. We make n 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay? And we keep on going until we see, okay, now it falls without, or outside, sorry. We see that it falls outside the restriction given of the interval wat gegee word. Okay, so if I substituted in those n values, you would see that the only angles possible would be 30,54, or as ek dan nou gaan maak vir n is 1, dan gaan ek kry 210,54 grade. Right, so if I use negative numbers at n, if I make n negative 1, you will see you get an angle of minus 149,46 degrees, en dit lê mos nog binne my interval. Okay, so then we also substitute in at n a minus 2, en dan kry jy, so ek dink daar moet 'n negatief wees, as ek net gou vir julle double check. Skus julle, ek het hom so vinnig geskryf. Ja, sorry. Daar moet net 'n minus vooraan kom. Wat sê? Of minus 329,46. Okay. Goed, dan oefening 17. Hy was die makliker enetjie gewees. Alright, so hier het hulle net vir my gevra bepaal die algemene oplossing, just the general equation. Right, so sin x minus 16 equal to 0,616. Ek gaan kry eers gou my hulpboekie. Hoe kry ek nou weer dit? I press shift sign 0,616 en dan gaan jy kry daai 38,02. Nou, waar is sin positief? Dit gaan wees in kwadrant 1 en 2. Okay, so as ek gaan kyk na kwadrant 1, dan gaan ek hê x minus 16 is gelyk aan my hulpboekie plus 360 times n. Please remember to add this last part. Okay, right, and then my next step, all I do is take the 16 over, so you will then end up with 54,02 plus 360n. Okay, as jy kyk dan na tweede kwadrant, I have the x minus 16 equal to, en nou omdat dit tweede kwadrant is, I'm going to say 180 minus my help angle, again, plus 360n, n is an element of all integers. Okay, sodra ek daar kom, jy sal sien ek het hierdie stapie alles in 1 gedoen. I did it all in once. I first said 180 minus that, and then I took the 16 over and added it to that answer. And that's how I got the 157,98 plus 360n. Okay, dan, net die vir julle wegvat, by nommer 3, selfde storie. Gaan kry gou eers my hulpboek. Please remember, you guys, that when you get your help angle, don't use the negative. When do we use the negative? When we decide which quadrant it will be. Nee. Okay, so jy het net eers gaan sê cos, shift cos 0,123, and that would give you this help angle here of 82,93. Then we look at the negative, so cos will be negative in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. Okay. In quadrant 2, dan gaan ek sê 3x, kry ons nou van daar af, nee, want ek mag daai 3 eers heel aan die einde van ons sla raak. Quadrant 2 is ons 180 minus my hulpboekie, plus 360n en element of integers. Okay, as ek daai 180 minus 82,93 vereenvoudig, you would get the 97,07. Now, next step, I want to get rid of this 3. So I divide by 3. But people, please remember, I divide this by 3 and also the 360 by 3. dan gaan jy sien, jy is veronderstel om te kry 120 maal n. Nee, moenie vergeet van daai stapie nie. Right, quadrant 3. Same rules apply, so 3x is equal to 180 plus, that tells me third quadrant, the help angle plus 360n, n element of all integers. So all I do now is I add up these two, and that gives me the 262,93. Now I want to get rid of that 3, so I'm going to divide everything by 3. En dit is hoe kom by die 87,64. En onthou, die 360, I also had to divide that, so it gives me 120n. Okay. Goed. Skus, julle moet maar vir die onderwyser vra om vir julle te pause. Ek gaan maar so vinnig as moontlik om die videoetjie lekker kort hou, maar julle kan mos pause en dan gee dit vir julle tyd om af te skryf. Okay, number 5. Tan x over 2 is equal to minus 1,421. Okay, so we first get our help angle. Don't use the negative. Okay? So shift tan 1,421, and that would give you the 54,86. So, dan gaan kyk ons gou-gou. Waar is tan negatief? And that would be in quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. But you will see that I scratched out quadrant 4. Again, dit gaan mos oor die periode van tan. Periode is net 180, nee? Okay, so we only use quadrant 2. So then x over 2 is equal to 180 minus the help angle plus, onthou, 180 n, nee? Okay, so as ek gou hierdie stukkie gaan vereenvoudig, you would see I get 125,14. Now, the main goal is to have x is equal to something. So I want to get rid of that 2 at the bottom. And that's actually x divided by 2. So if I take it over, it's going to become times 2. Maar nou weer eens, as ek wil gaan maal, dan moet ek alles gaan maal. So 125,14, I multiply that with 2 to get the 250,28. But the 180n I also multiply with 2. En dit geef my 360n. Okay. Goed, dan die laaste enetjie. First things first, ons moet gou eers, jy moet net maar kyk na die pers. We've got to alter the equation so that we have it in this, ek kan amper say, simplest form, nee? Okay, so I first took over the 1. So then it becomes minus 1,456. Now I've got to get rid of the 3. So as ek dit oorvat, raak het mos gedeel deur 3. And that's how I get that number. Okay, nou is hy in sy eenvoudigste vorm. So I'm going to say shift cos 0,485. Remember, we don't use the negative yet. Dit geef my dan daai hulphoekie van 60,99. Nou gaan sê ek, okay, daai negatief beteken kos gaan wees negatief in quadrant 2 or in quadrant 3. Okay, so in quadrant 2, I would have x minus 15 equal to, omdat dit quadrant 2 is, gaan ek sê 180 minus my help angle plus 360n. Okay, dan het ek net gou eers daai vereenvoudig om vir 119 te gee. En nou die volgende stap, I take the 15 over. So I'm going to add 15 and that's how I get the 134,01. Okay, and then the last one, quadrant 3, gaan ek sê x minus 15 in quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is always 180 plus my help angle plus 360 times n element of integers. Goed, dan gaan ek sê, wil ek nie nou hierso, daai, as ek hierdie vereenvoudig, kry ek 240,99, and now I want to get the 15 over, so I'm going to go and add 15, en dit is hoe ek dan nou kry 255,99. Okay. And that, people, is it. Ek gaan nie vir julle huiswerk gee nie, so julle kan lekker naweek hou. I will see you guys on Monday. Geniet dit. Bye.